flown and was tired. He wants to cock up his foot to go to sleep. Ali's like, well, we just got to Mauritius. Like, what do you mean you're gonna go to sleep? I just didn't really understand the beef. The minute that you start putting in your effers and your jeffers to me in a discussion like that, you've raised my back and my back is up. But I think it's official because Channel 4 has come out to say that, oh, you know, we've done our CIB checks and stuff and they all came back clear. You don't want to fight fire with fire, literally. I would want to have enough regulation on myself that I wouldn't require someone else to quell my anger. She's like, you know, oh, I'm only available 3 days a week. And he's like, yeah, but what if I want to go Cineworld? It did seem like really good vibes. I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really, really, really cool. Until the clip of the next episode with the first dinner party. Ross and Sacha. What an absolute breath of fresh air. So yeah, I had to have a nap, and then before I know it, it's now nighttime. That whole scene with her doing the massage thing, it was just so awkward. If you're on your own and you're secluded and you've got one big honeymoon suite bed, like, and nothing on, like, it's pretty obvious that, like, it's because they don't want to. Polly, stop asking him. Stop it. Stop asking the question because they've matched me with a better personality. Well, the personality ain't going to be kissing you, is it? Do you know what I mean? The personality is not going to be rubbing you up tonight. So, do you want me and all of this or not? Where would you score? And then they ask him that question, and he's like, oh, I'd probably say about 4. I did think she was a bit cold with it, though. She did come across a little bit cold. It's like, I'm not here for no sob stories. This dinner party is about to be juicy. Wagwan, people, thems. Where's my drink? So I think there's only like a handful of people that are actually watching these reactions anyway. So, but still, apologies. I was actually out at the Beverly night. Whoa, made it back. Made it back. I was at the Beverly Night concert yesterday, which was amazing. It was absolutely phenomenal, so good. But it did mean I didn't get back until very late last night. And by the time that I got back, I was just too tired to actually jump into the Married at First Sight reaction. So I thought, you know what, it's cool. Tomorrow, I'll jump into that then. I might end up doing like a double barrel, but I've managed to watch it. So as soon as episode 6 finished, I messaged my cousin. I voice noted her. She commented on my previous reaction, and I was laughing. I was laughing. I think I hate myself a little bit that I'm actually watching this show. A little bit, because I'm just like, what? So okay, if we look at Alex and Holly, right? And what's interesting is they had. So, dear, I'm laughing because I've obviously just seen the clip of the next episode, so I'm just a bit like, But okay, so in this episode, they've got to Mauritius, and you know they were excited about going to Mauritius. They get there, and then the first incident is that which is what we saw at the end of episode 5 was them getting into a bind. So we now get a bit more tea as to what caused this issue. So because he'd obviously Alex had flown and was tired, he wants to cock up his foot to go to sleep, and Holly's like, well, we just got to Mauritius. Like, what do you mean you're gonna go to sleep? And I just didn't really understand the beef because I don't know. Like, I mean, unless he. Like, she was saying that she found it rude that he went to sleep, and then, like, you know, we're in a new country, like, you know, we're on holiday, we're on a honeymoon, you've got a new bride. Like, I find it kind of rude that you know, these are things I want to do with my partner, like, and I just find it kind of rude. If this had been like the second day and he was asleep at, you know, 1 o'clock, I could understand you saying, do you not want to do anything? But you just landed. You had a long flight. That's what he said. Then had another long flight. You might decide that all I want to do is just cock up my foot and fall asleep a little bit. But then did he not say that to her? It's like, babe, I'm gonna catch a few hours. Like, I'm gonna get a quick power nap. You know, were they just mid conversation and he just rolled over and went to sleep, or I don't know. But all of that seems a little bit like contrite to me. Like, like I understand that you want to kind of do some stuff, but like she said, she was fuming. I'm not, it'd be different if he was like, I'm not making any conversation and just, went to go and sleep in a separate room and closed the door. Those kind of signs are like, oh, I don't really want to be around you. But to say that, like, I kind of was in his corner a little piece when he's just like, what, it's rude to go to, it's rude to be tired. Because I was like, I don't really get what your problem is, like, at all. I mean, again, maybe it's just me. Maybe there's other people that were like, no, I'm expect, like, don't get me wrong. Anytime I've been on holiday, it's very much like as soon as you get there, you kind of want to be in everything and see what's popping and whatever. Like, I don't think I've ever caught a plane and been like, right, I'm gonna sleep. Like, and unless it's just really late at night, I don't know. But anyway, that's what they were beefing over. We just seemed a little bit ridiculous. But then obviously she's then effed at him, right? And then he's obviously gone, who the f are you talking to? And I can kind of, I'm a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like being sworn at, like, at all. Like, I don't care. And I know that people can be like, oh, it's just a frustration. Like, don't business. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's people out there that you can go and do that to, do that with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the minute that you start putting in your effers and your jeffers to me in a discussion like that, you've raised my back and my back is up. So because it is disrespectful. Like, I'm not talking to, like, my tone might be assertive. Like, do you know what I mean? I might be curt. I might even be sarcastic. I am known to be sarcastic, right? But I'm never gonna cuss at you like that. Do you know what I mean? And the minute the cussing starts, like, my ears are turned up because I'm just like, you ain't got no home training. And I can understand now a bit more as to why he was like, who are you actually talking to? Because they had a really nice moment before then, and then all of a sudden you've sworn at him and stuff. However, just very quickly on this whole Alex situation, I did have a very quick read of some stuff that's online, because I didn't even realize until I was looking for a picture of him to go onto my thumbnail, that there's been all this furore with him and, like, being part of the RAF and, like, getting arrested, like military prison, and this is what I've been reading anyway. I'm sure everyone else has done their own research, but from what I've read online, so, and I guess, I don't know, I was gonna say allegedly, but, like, it just seems to be like that it's everywhere. But allegedly, he was arrested and had to serve some days in military prison because he wasn't actually due to be on the show. He didn't get leave. I guess absent without leave. So he actually was absent, AWOL, and went to film the show anyway. And apparently there's some friend of some ex-girlfriend who apparently has come out to say that she's seen firsthand of him displaying certain types of I don't know if you can really say the word, but I'm talking about in regards to, I guess, women and stuff. And there's a huge charity that's come out and had something to say. So I just wanted to just comment on that, because obviously I'm there laughing and guffawing, but obviously it was a very different context on the kind of conversation he's having, if that is the background that he comes from. Do you know what I mean? And again, it really begs the question on, because now Channel 4 have come out. In fact, it must be official, because but I think it's official, because Channel 4 has come out to say that, that we've done our CIB checks and stuff, and they all came back clear, and there's lots of psychological testing and that kind of stuff. I mean, they say this. Yeah, they do say this, but I'm sure, wasn't it last year? And again, on the British one, I don't even think he was on the British one for very long. I'm sure it was the British one. And there was a guy that was on there that was paired up with this woman who apparently was a medium or something or other. And she was like, at dinner, she was like connecting with, like, Casper and the other members of the Upside Down, and just at dinner, and telling him about, like, what he needs to do, and that they're talking to him through her. Like, it was a really weird situation, like, really, really weird. So I'm like, so what checks did you do for her then? Because she was on the show. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not quite sure as to what I don't know what the overall outcome of that's going to be, like, in terms of long-term part of the show. But anyway, whilst he's still in the show, I just thought that was a very interesting dynamic, considering of that alleged past. What I will rate her for, though, is that she did give as good as she got. So she knows there's no wallflower around here. But I think what was nice about it is that she was able to take herself inside, sit down, and they both were able to kind of talk it out. And I thought that was really good. It was very mature. Do you know what I mean? Very mature, very demure, very, you know, what you would hope for. I think the thing that I don't know, the jury's still a little bit out for me. She was like, oh, you know, I'm quite fiery, and that's my defense mechanism based on the relationships I've been in the past. So I need, instead of someone meeting me with that fire, I need someone to go, oh, actually, you're being silly, da 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 da. And whilst I understand that, I do understand it. You know, you don't want to fight fire with fire, literally. I would want to have enough regulation on myself that I wouldn't require someone else to quell my anger like that. And actually that I can be the person to say, no, actually, this is actually silly. Because, you know, I'm sure we all have done that, or I'd hope that as we're getting older, we're able to kind of look at that and say, oh, do you know what, actually, like I know, for example, when I'm hungry, like my mood, like it's really easy to pee me off, like really easy. Cause I'm not in the mood for anything. I'm just hungry. I need to eat. So which just means my patience is very low. And I know if I've been snippy, like if I've been snippy, then I know it's because I haven't eaten. So like as soon as I'm aware of that, I'm just like, oh, do you know what, like, my bad. I've not had my bran flakes yet. I've not had my bran flakes yet. I need my bran flakes, my banana. Like, once I've had, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? Like, but until I've had anything, I'm just running on fumes, and I'm just like, I just don't have any headspace for your nonsense. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, being able to regulate yourself, I think, is really important. But, you know, whatever, they're made up, that's cool. Anyway, their holiday continues, and it seems to be that it goes from strength to strength until they're talking about the kids. And then she's like, you know, oh, I'm only available 3 days a week. And he's like, yeah, but what if I want to go Cineworld and, you know, watch a movie, or, you know, you know, those are some of the things that I like to do. And she's like, well, you know, for the right person, they will wait the time that it will take me to fully evaluate whether or not you are someone who's good enough to meet my kids. And if you are good enough, then you get me and my kids whenever. Do you know what I mean? But so I rated her for doing that and saying that is the standard, because there's so many people out there, like, and again, I'm not trying to throw no shade here, because I haven't got no kids, so I don't know how difficult it must be, like, to date when you do have them. But you know, I've known people where they're dating whoever, and before you know it, like, they've been introduced to the kids have formed an attachment, some of them even going as far to then start calling that person their dad. And it's like, that is so messed up, because you don't even know, and in this 2024, you don't even know how long that's lasting. Do you know what I mean? So I rate the fact that she's like, no, like, we'll take our time, and then if I can evaluate that you're important enough, then cool. Obviously, there's boundaries to how long that could take and what that looks like. But even having the mentality of that, I think, is really good. So I rate her for that. And he did say, look, you know, with every bit of closeness that we get, I'm getting a little bit more like, okay, cool. So he kind of matched the energy with that, I think. And yeah, they had what looks like a really good last date. You know, and that he's really into her and she's really into him, and it did seem like really good vibes. I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really, really, really cool. Until the clip of the next episode with the first dinner party, and obviously it's got back to Holly. I can't remember. I think it might have been Polly that had said that has let the cat out of the bag about what he said about swapping wives and stuff. And then there's also another clip where he's talking to Orson and saying, yo, it's good for now, but soon it's not, bro. Yo. Which, again, doesn't really... like, I wouldn't want to be hearing that if I was on the receiving end of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what... Because obviously, I mean, that's obvious. It's so obvious that's the case. Like, things are good until they're not. You don't need to reiterate that. So the fact that you are reiterating it to other people, that's a bit of a concern for me. But yeah, that all kicks off, and Holly's telling him about himself, and you think you can meet my kids? Like, what kind of... basically calling him a waste man. I'm like, wow. And you see, all of that in front of people, yeah, is another just I can't be dealing with that. And I know there's probably a lot of it that's like, we're doing it for the cameras, do it on the camera, producers maybe, but I'm not about to go and... I remember being in a relationship once where I was dragged into that, where this public Oh god, it was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. I'm just like, there is never going to be a situation in my life where that's ever the case again. Like, we will have words when we get home. We will have words when we are on our own. We're not standing out here like doing family affairs on frigging Broad Street. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Save that drama, yeah, for you and your mama. That's all kicked off and gone to crap. So even the little bit of hope that I started to have for them to, oh, okay, well, that's ended well. Absolutely dashed. And I feel as though that, like, not true colours, but like, you see how people really are when those conflicts happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, whether they can keep that same soft, wise, patient disposition, or whether it's straight to like, well, you said, yo, come out anyway. Who wants to be with you? And do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how effective or consistent the end part of that honeymoon was for either of them. If that is how they're going to respond in front of people, having had those conversations. So yeah. Just more nonsense, really. Like, so yeah, so we got that. Then you've got Ross and Sasha. What an absolute breath of fresh air within all of the maelstrom of the nonsense here between my man and Holly, and between Alex and Holly, and Polly and Adam. You've got Ross and Sasha that are just crushing on each other, and the fact that she was like, you will sleep on the futon. And she's now like, oh, actually, we're sharing a bed. Their communication is really awesome. There don't seem to be any kind of like difficult barriers in terms of them talking to one another and getting the best out of each other. They're flirty, they're funny, they're having a laugh. She feels like the princess that he's making her feel like. It's all systems are great over here. Ross, cheeky chappy. He just seems like a really happy guy, and that's really coming across well. And I like the fact as well that, I mean, not that it should make any difference, but the fact that when he gave her the flowers and the card, say thank you for being amazing, and she was like, you shouldn't have to thank me. Like, I've got the best vibe with you, and you haven't got to thank me for that. I mean, that should be standard. Rate it. Rate it, rate it, rate it, rate it, rate it. Really appreciate the fact as well that, like, him being deaf, bearing in mind that, like, she only knows some sign language, but it doesn't seem to be that that's hindered anything at all. Like, the communication just seems so in sync. It's really, really cool, man. So yeah, Ross and Sasha, so glad for them. So I had to have a bit of a nap. So just before I started recording, I just had my lunch, and it was like a big dinner, like a proper big, like, pie, mash, veg. I'm trying to eat like anyway, nobody cares about that. But it did give, man, the itis was killing me. I don't know if you saw my eyes. It was just very much just like, yeah, I'm so tired. So yeah, I had to have a nap, and then before I know it, it's now nighttime. Anyway, what I was saying was, Adam and Polly, yeah. So I feel like every single time that they've been on the screen, like every single time, I've just been like, it's such a shame, because she seems like a really, really lovely person. And I feel like, again, I don't want to just rubbish this guy, because I'm sure, again, with his own people, he's really nice. But I just feel like, number one, I don't really get what it is that she's hyped about with him. Particularly when we saw the whole thing with him, and the horse. I'm not, there was that really wasn't. He was acting as if, yeah, he was about to set flight on Pegasus. Like, this is just, it looked like one of them Shetland ponies. I mean, it was a bit bigger than that, but still. And I don't ride horses, so maybe it is a little bit more scary when you're on it, because you don't know what he's about to do. But I don't know. It just wasn't a great look. But I think, in their defense, they seem like they get on really well, which is really nice. And he keeps complimenting, your personality is great. Like, he may as well just turn around and said, you're bubbly. Oh God, you're bubbly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just that you're finding all these different things aside from the physical thing that she wants to talk about. But again, in his defense, you can't fake being attracted to someone. Do you know what I mean? You either are or you're not. That whole scene with her doing the massage thing, it was just so awkward, because it's like, he's not into this, and you really want him to be into it so you can be into it together. Like, there is nothing worse, yeah, than somebody chasing after somebody that does not want them to be, like, I don't want you to chase me. And that's the whole vibe that I've got from him. Like, he doesn't want he shouldn't have slept with her, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it's ever clever. And I know some people say, well, maybe, he needed to know whether there was something there if, they were doing the horizontal jiggery pokery. But you know already. You've been knowing. Let's be real. She must have asked him about at least 3 different times about where his head is at and what he's feeling. And I will be honest, yeah, I have been in her corner this whole time, but I feel like a little bit. And again, I can understand where it's come from because they did sleep together, so it is a bit of a mixed signal. But really and truly, yeah, we're all grown folks out here. We know the dealio. Do you know what I mean? You know when you're feeling someone, and you also know when someone ain't feeling you. So you continuing to ask this question, bearing in mind that the honeymoon isn't over a course of like a month, like it's days, right? So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're asking this question. It's like it's almost like you're being a glutton for punishment almost, because you're wanting a response from him that he's clearly not wanting to give, because him beating around the bush and being like, oh, I was thinking about it, but I don't know what I'm gonna say. I was gonna wing it. You're going to wing whether or not you might be attracted to me or not. Like, it's a very simple question. Do you know what I mean? It's a very simple. Do you want me to touch you? Do you not want me to touch you? Is that ever going to change, do you think? And I think for me, the minute that I asked that question first, I wouldn't need to keep asking that question again. I wouldn't. Like, my own shame and ego enough would be like, no, not on national TV. You've already shamed me once already by, telling my best friend at the wedding day that I'm no Megan Fox. Do you know what I mean? You've already shamed me up there. I think she did need to speak to him about when they slept together, to be like, it's not happened since. I think that was fair enough. Like, what's going on with that? But again, like, if you're on your own and you're secluded and you've got one big honeymoon suite bed, like, and nothing go on, like, it's pretty obvious that, like, it's because they don't want to. That's. But I guess understanding the reason as to why he doesn't want to is important. But I think that she knows. So I did get to the point at the end where she was like, do you think that's going to change? And I was a bit like, Polly, stop asking him. Stop it. Stop asking the question, because he obviously doesn't want to. And realistically, you shouldn't want to either. Like, if someone can't see you and see your bright light and what you bring to the table, not just in these lofty proverbial, oh my God, they could have matched me with a better personality. Well, the personality ain't gonna be kissing you, is it? Do you know what I mean? The personality is not gonna be rubbing you up tonight. So, do you want me and all of this or not? And then it was so heartbreaking that she got so excited about this kiss, and it wasn't even like he was like, oh, I think his actual sentence was, don't get too excited, but let's have a kiss on the last night. So I'm there thinking, okay, that's a bit of a bossy statement to make anyway, but all right. And then the kiss he gave her was like a kiss you'd give to like your surrogate nan or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, mwah. What is that? What is that? What is that? And she was gushing. Honestly, it was heartbreaking. And I'm just like, wow, this show is actually shambles. I'm going to keep watching it, obviously. But it is a shambles, man. It is a shambles. So then the clip fast forwards, obviously, to the when they're back at the dinner party. And he's like asking someone else to rate their wife. And like a lot from 10 being, I'm absolutely in love with them, and 1 or 0 being, I hate them, where would you score? And then they ask him that question, and he's like, oh, I'd probably say about 4. It's like his mission on this show is to disrespect her. That's how I feel. Because why would you ever say that? I don't know whether it's because he was drunk, or because obviously I know the liquor flows at these parties, right? So I don't know whether, like, his mouth was just running away with him and he kind of forgot where he was for a second or whatever. But that is not having someone's back. You said that you wanted to have a good time with someone and make a friend at least. That ain't the one. Like, if you're still talking about attraction level, you can say, look, it hasn't grown. Like, and if you're talking about that from like 10, I'm already in the bed with her, and 0 being I'm in Antarctica, I can understand trying to say, well, look, I'm at kind of a 4. Like, I'm not really at that. Like, there's a way to put it. But you said hate them or can't stand them as 0. and whatever the 10 was, and you said 4. Awful, rude. So I can understand why she walked out. But again, though, like not to labour the point, but I do feel like she's been knowing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like there has to be now walls put up and guards put up to say, do you know what? This may not be the guy for me. Like, he told your best friend on your wedding day that you were not it. Like, how could, at what point then, like, I don't know, I would need to see, like, demonstrative, consistent activity to say, yo, yeah, that person's feeling me still. Because it would always be in the back of my head, yeah, that you, in front of all my people, told them that I'm not the one. That would always be in the back of my head. So you've got to work really hard to rub that out. Some little Barney level, let's all play together, kiss on the lips is not going to do it. You can keep that. If that was your big last night surprise, keep it. So yeah, so there's those two. And then obviously Orson and Rochelle. I mean, there's just lots of sighing. There's lots of sighing. So I'm just like, these couples, they're not. I mean, well, she's left in it. I mean, from the looks of it, she gone. So, sorry, I shouldn't laugh. So he's obviously on a different page to her altogether because he's, you know, talking about, oh, I'm getting the feels and this and the other. And I think she raised a very good point that she was like, I don't really understand how you can be saying that you're feeling me, you got feelings, and she's like, you know, we've just been on a trajectory of getting to know each other, which has been cool, and now you're telling me you got feelings for me, but you don't know me though. And I think he shot himself in the foot because before he did that, he obviously was talking about his heartbreak that he went through, and so, I shouldn't laugh because it's not funny. Heartbreak is not funny, and it affects people differently. Do you know what I mean? And there is no timeline, really. Like there's no rule book as to when you should or shouldn't be over something. But I can imagine for a new person that's coming into something to hear about something that happened 5 years ago, and you know the way he was talking about it, like, you know, I can't even go there. I can't even talk about it because it brings up all those feelings, and I think that would also make me go, ooh. She put it right, really. I'm cautious and apprehensive about how emotionally resilient you are, because it was 5 years ago and you're talking like you can't talk about it. Whereas I would imagine if you've gone through an experience that you could be talking about what that's then taught you and how you now are and what you now look for and all that kind of stuff. But it sounded like your mind was very much still in that mode. And I think she was just like, what? So then the next day when you brought it back up, she literally was like, you've just dug a bigger hole here because why are you still talking about this ex-girl? Like, I did think she was a bit cold with it though. She did come across a little bit cold. It's like, I'm not here for no sob stories. People get cheated on all the time. And what? So I'm like, I can understand what she's saying, and I can understand why that wouldn't be necessarily attractive. Like, I do get that. I did think she was giving him a really hard time about the genuine thing though, because he just acting on the side. But she said that her gut never really fails her, and that he was in it for the right reasons. But with these kind of shows, you never really know. Do you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I said he comes across like a really warm person. You know, I didn't go on holiday with him anywhere, so I don't know. And yeah, she might have her guards up and she might be a certain set in her ways kind of person, which begs the question, why did you bother come on the show? But whatever. Maybe she did see something that we just didn't see. I don't know, but yeah, she scarpered and he had to come to the dinner party on his own. So that was interesting. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a juicy episode when it comes to dramas. But in terms of the experts putting together, again, I'm not expecting bliss and wedding bliss from day one, but I'm not expecting there to be such a disconnect. I think the person that I'm kind of like the least favourable about at the moment is Adam. I just, you know, he quite openly sat down there and told Polly that, you know, I'm quite fussy and that's just the way I am. I've always been fussy. And I, as I said in one of my other ones, my other reactions, like I get it, like I totally get like having a standard of what you like, and not wanting to settle for that because you know what makes you happy. But that kind of it just feels really disproportionate, like because I would like to see who he would like to be paired with then, and whether or not that type of girl that he's got in his head as his ideal would also reciprocate that with him, and whether he's giving out the energy to. Do you know what I mean? I just don't get that disconnect. But whatever. Okay, so it is now 10:15, so I'm gonna watch the next episode of Married at First Sight. This dinner party is about to be juicy. It is going to be juicy. I know that. So I'd love to know what you guys thought of this. If you did enjoy this, then please do drop me a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.